and a very warm afternoon to all my dear students. First of all, a very happy new year to all of you. Hope you had a nice Diwali, and I think you all enjoyed your Diwali safely on also. Now today, first of all, I would like to welcome you in the SEM 2 of our science class. Today we'll be starting lesson number 6 in our science, which is the physical and chemical change. Now let's do a little bit of recall of what we did in the last lesson. Was about how we can identify whether the substance is acid or a base. So we use the litmus test or the turmeric test to find out whether the substance is acid or basic in nature by the change of the color of either of the litmus paper or of the turmeric paste. And that experiment also I showed you in the video. Now today in lesson number 6 we are going to study about the physical and chemical changes. What is the meaning of physical change and what is the meaning of chemical change? First you should understand that physical change is that in which you can get back to the original substance. Like supposing ice is there, if you melt the ice, it will become water. So water is the original form from which you can convert it into ice, you can convert it into steam. But when the ice melts, then again it is converted back into the water. So this is called as a physical change. But when some substances are there, when you do some there's some reaction between those substances, then a new substance is formed, and the substance that you have used to get the new substance does not get back to the original substance. Supposing I give the example of the paper only. If one full whole paper is there, complete one sheet of paper is taken here. Supposing this paper is there, I can show you this paper. Now this is, you can see this one whole paper is there, but if I will tear this paper into pieces, and then if I want that it should again come back into the original full one page, then it will not come back. So this is also a type of the change only. It's a physical change. Pehle pura physically it has changed, but originally it will not come back to the original shape. So now we'll start the lesson. Every day you come across many changes in our surroundings. These changes may involve one or more substances. For example, mother asks you to make a cold drink. Making a sugar solution is a change. Similarly, setting a curd from the milk is a change. Sometimes milk becomes sour. Souring of milk is a change. Stretched rubber band also represents a change. Make a list of 10 changes that you have noticed around you. In this chapter, we shall perform some of the activities and study the nature of these changes. Broadly, these changes are of two types: physical and chemical changes. Like setting of curd is a chemical change because from curd you cannot make milk. So these type of because from see original substance is milk, but from milk you have made a curd by setting it. So a new substance is formed from the curd, that is from the milk, that is curd, and the curd cannot return back to the milk. So this type of the change is called as the chemical change. Now so basic two types of changes are there, as I told you. One is the physical change and other is the chemical change. Now here you can see the torn pieces of the paper which are laid. अगर ऐसा full paper है तो इसको ऐसे हम जो इसको ऐसे हमने फोल्ड किया तो ये ऐसे ऐसे डिज़ाइंस मीन्स 4 पार्ट्स हो 4 पार्ट्स हो गए इसमें. लेकिन ये जो 4 पार्ट्स है अगर हम इसको टेयर करेंगे तो ओरिजिनल पेपर के जैसा ये पेपर नहीं बन पाएगा. Now next is your physical change, which is your activity 6.1. Cut a piece of paper into 4 separate pieces. Cut each square pieces further into smaller pieces. Lay these pieces on the floor or a table so that the pieces acquire the shape of the original paper. Obviously, you cannot join the pieces to make the original paper, but is there any change in the property of the paper? No, the property of the paper does not change, only the appearance of that paper changes. Now activity 6.2 is collect the chalk dust lying on the floor near the chalkboard in your classroom, or crush small pieces of chalk into dust. Add a little of water into the dust and make a paste. Roll it into the shape of a piece of chalk. Did you recover chalk from the dust? No, we cannot recover the chalk from the dust. You can try that also. आपको क्या वैसे के वैसे chalk मिलती है या नहीं मिलती है. आप उसको पेस्ट बनाइए और उसके बाद सूखने दीजिए। तो सूखने के बाद जैसी चौक आपके पास थी पहले वैसी ही चौक आपको मिलेगी या नहीं, यू कैन ट्राई एंड गिव द आंसर। एक्टिविटी 6.3 is take some ice into a glass or a plastic tumbler, melt the small portion of ice by placing a tumbler in the sun. You now have a mixture of ice and water. Now place the tumbler in the freezing mixture, ice plus common salt. Does the water become solid ice once again? So जब हम जो है नमक डाल के अगर हम उसमें रखते हैं तो जो है धीमे धीमे जो है पानी जो है बर्फ़ भी कम पिघलता है और जो आइस है वो थोड़ा थोड़ा जो वाटर है वो आइस में कन्वर्ट होने लगता है। Activity 6.4, which is on page number 59. Boil some water in a container. Do you see the steam rising from the surface of the water? Hold an inverted pan by its handle over the steam at some distance from the boiling water. Observe the inner surface of the pan. You can see any droplets of water there. Yes, when the water starts boiling, and if you will cover that container in which the water is boiling with a lid, or if you hold the container at some height from where you can easily see the steam going up, so after some times you can see that steam has collected over there on the container, and you can as the steam cools you can see the small droplets of water on the top. So from the steam again it is converted into water. The steam has again converted into water, as ice when it melts gets converted into the water, same way the steam also gets converted into the water. 6.5 बी केयरफुल वाइल हैंडलिंग द फ्लेम। कोई भी चीज़ अगर आप ऐसे करते हैं तो आप ध्यान से करिएगा क्योंकि आपको चोट लग सकती है। होल्ड अ यूज्ड हैक्सॉ ब्लेड विथ अ पेयर ऑफ टोंग्स, कीप द टिप ऑफ द फ्री एंड ऑफ द ब्लेड ओवर अ गैस स्टोव, वेट फॉर फ्यू मिनट्स। Does the color of the tip of the blade change? Remove the blade from the flame and observe the tip once again after some time. Does it get back to the original color? In activity 6.1, 6.2 and above, you can saw that the paper and the piece of chalk underwent changes in the size. In activities 6.3 and 6.4, water changed the state from solid to liquid and from gas to liquid. In activity 6.5, the hacksaw blade changed color on heating. Properties such as shape, size, color, and state of substances are called its physical properties. A change in which a substance undergoes a change in its physical property is called as the physical change. A physical change is generally reversible. In such a change, no new substance is formed. Now all the activities that we did from activity 6.1, from tearing the pieces into of paper into small pieces, then chalk है, उसके बाद जो activity ice और water की है, उसके बाद water boil करने की है या hacksaw blade वाली है. Now first I'll explain this activity. You have to take one blade और उस blade को अगर आप थोड़ी देर के लिए अगर flame के कोई भी gas stove के flame के सामने पकड़ के रखेंगे तो वो थोड़ी देर तक अगर आप रखेंगे then it will start heating. The color of the blade will change into red color. As it gets heated, the color will change into red color, but slowly after it cools down the color will not be red, but after some times when it cools down you will see it has turned to be black. That means the color of the blade has changed. So what are the physical properties? The physical प्रॉपर्टीज हम किसको बोलते हैं? कोई भी सब्सटेंस होता है उसका शेप होता है, साइज होता है, कलर होता है, वो सारी चीज़ें जो होती हैं उसकी फिजिकल प्रॉपर्टीज होती हैं. अगर इन कोई भी प्रॉपर्टीज़ में अगर चेंज आता है तो उसको हम फिजिकल चेंज कहते हैं. बेसिकली सब्सटेंस की जो अपनी ओरिजिनल प्रॉपर्टी होती है दैट डजंट गेट चेंज. द ओरिजिनल प्रॉपर्टी ऑफ सब्सटेंस रिमेन्स एज इट इज. सपोजिंग वी आर टेयरिंग द पेपर, देन द साइज ऑफ द पेपर हैज been smaller. We have made the paper into bits into smaller sizes as compared to this page. ये बड़ा पेज था उसका हमने जो पीसेस किए तो उसके साइज छोटे छोटे हो गए, बट बेसिक जो पेपर है उसकी प्रॉपर्टी में हमने कोई भी चेंज नहीं किया. ओनली द साइज ऑफ द पेपर गेट्स चेंज. सिमिलरली यहाँ चॉक पाउडर है, भले ही वो चॉक जो है एकदम प्रॉपरली चॉक जैसा नहीं बनेगा, लेकिन जब हम उसको पेस्ट बनाएंगे वो पाउडर को लेकर तो उसका जो साइज हो जाएगा और थोड़ा सा जो टेक्सचर है मीन्स जो चॉक का original texture hota hai and the texture that we get now, maybe a little bit of difference in the texture will be there, and you will not get that type of solid chalk that you have already have, but it will be quite similar, but the chalk powder, the original property of the chalk powder, there's no change in that. So that is called as the physical change. The size of the chalk powder has become smaller. Now in this also you can see that ice has started melting, and then again that melted ice can again be frozen into water, can be frozen into ice. So this is the basic property of ice is what is the basic property of water only. Ice doesn't have its own special properties. That once it gets freeze, the properties of water will change. The properties of water will remain as it is. In the ice also, once it starts melting, it will again become the same water as it was, but the form, the physical form of the water has changed. That means from liquid it has changed into solid form. Similarly, when you heat the water and starts boiling, you can see the water evaporating or the steam. So that steam is the gaseous form of the water. So once the again that steam cools down, you get the water, same water back. The property of the water has not changed. It contains oxygen and hydrogen. It will remain as it is. There's no new substance that is formed, but the form of the water has changed. So that is called as the physical change. Now what is the meaning of exactly physical change? Is where no new substance is formed, or the physical property, there can be a change in the physical properties, like you can say the shape, size and color of or the state of a substance is changed, is called as the physical property. So there can be the changes in this, but the basic property of that substance will not change. It is called as the, or the no new substance is formed which is in that is called as the physical change. So you all will underline this, that properties such as size, properties such as the shape, size, color and state of the substance are called its physical properties. Physical मतलब जो हमको बाहर से देख के पता लगता है कि अगर ये पेन है तो हमको पता है पेन का कलर ब्लैक है, इसका कैप मेरे पास है, राइट नाउ आई डोंट हैव द सेम कैप, बट इसका कैप ट्रांसपेरेंट है, इसमें यहाँ पे येलो डॉट दिया हुआ है, तो ये सब फिजिकल है. अगर हम सपोजिंग इसको मेल्ट करेंगे या हम इसको गैस के ऊपर रखेंगे तो स्टार्ट्स मेल्टिंग, तो थोड़ा सा इसका फॉर्म जो है, इसका जो शेप है उसमें चेंज आ जाएगा. तो दिस शेप ऑफ द पेन दैट वी हैव इज द फिजिकल प्रॉपर्टी ऑफ दिस पेन. या जो कैप है उस पर ये जो है, ये अभी जो शेप है ये उसका ओरिजिनल शेप है, दिस इज द फिजिकल प्रॉपर्टी. जो बाहर से हमको दिखती है वो फिजिकल उसकी प्रॉपर्टी है, शेप, साइज, कलर एंड द स्टेट और द टेक्सचर दैट वी हैव ऑफ दैट material. Now let us now consider the other kind of changes. Now what is other kind of change? Is your chemical change, a change with which you are quite familiar in is the rusting of iron. Now what is known as the rusting of iron? Rusting of iron का मतलब होता है कि कोई भी लोहे की चीज़ होती है, अगर बहुत टाइम तक वो मॉइस्चर या पानी के कांटेक्ट में रहती है तो उसके ऊपर एक लेयर आ जाता है ब्राउन कलर का. दैट लेयर ऑफ द ब्राउन कलर इज कॉल्ड एज द रस्ट. तो ये जो है बहुत कॉमन प्रॉपर्टी है. केमिकल चेंज का जो कॉमन एग्जाम्पल है विच इज विजिबल फ्रॉम होम टू होम व्हेन इफ यू हैव द आयरन थिंग्स विच कम्स इन कॉन्टैक्ट विद द वाटर, तो ऐसा होता है. If you leave a piece of iron in the open for some time, it acquires a film of brownish substance. This substance is called as rust, and the process is called as rusting. So that layer, that brown layer that is formed on the iron, is top of the iron is called as the rust, and the whole process in which this happens is called as the rusting. In the figure 6.2, iron gates of the parks are farmlands, iron benches, kept in the lawns and gardens. Almost every article of iron kept in the open gets rusted. At home, you must see the shovels and the spades getting rusted when exposed to the air. Exposed to the atmosphere for some time. Now, it is very common with all the things that are made out of iron. Iron means लोहा. जो भी चीज़ें आयरन से बनी हुई होती है, लोहे की बनी होती है, उनके साथ this things happens very common. In कोई भी चीज़ हो, चाहे bench हो या spades हो, sickles हो, whatever is there, even some utensils of iron are there which are kept in open in the atmosphere, then also such things happen. So, in the kitchen, the wet iron pan or tawa often gets rusted, or it is left in the state of for some time. Rust is not iron, it is different from iron. on which it gets deposited. Let us consider a few more changes where new substances are formed. Now here iron, on the substances which are made of iron, on that you can see the brownish layer, that is a layer of rust is formed, but the rust that is formed is not the substance that contains the properties of iron. It is totally different from the iron. So on the iron a new layer of substance is formed. A new layer has formed which does not contain any of the properties of the iron. So this is called as a change in which we get something new. Something new has formed when the iron comes in contact with the atmosphere. That means with the moisture, एटमॉस्फेयर के जो मॉइस्चर के साथ या जहाँ गीला रहता है या पानी लगता है तो वो जल्दी हो जाता है. Now we move on to page number 60, activity 6.6, to be demonstrated by the teacher. Here there's an experiment that you can it is to be done in the class or in the lab. So I'll just explain the experiment. We cannot do this at home. So what is given here, caution is given that you have to take the precaution. It is dangerous to look for a long time at the burning magnesium ribbon. The teachers should advise children not to stare at the burning ribbon. So in this experiment we are going to take a magnesium, which is an chemical that we are going to burn. Here with this is the picture of that magnesium ribbon which is burning, and उसमें से बहुत ज़्यादा light निकलता है, इसलिए इसको continuously you should not see this. Get a small piece or of a thin strip of or a ribbon of magnesium, clean its tip with sandpaper, bring the tip near a candle flame. It burns with a brilliant white light. When it completes burning, it leaves behind a powdery ash. Does the ash look like the same as the magnesium ribbon? The change can be represented by the following equation. Magnesium plus oxygen is equal to magnesium oxide, which forms magnesium oxide. Mg का जो chemical formula है उसमें हम उसको short में magnesium को Mg लिखते हैं, oxygen को O2 लिखते हैं, और this is called as the chemical equation which has to be balanced. जितने यहाँ पर molecules होंगे, the same number of molecules you should get in the answer also. That magnesium plus oxygen is MgO, which is called as magnesium oxide. Mg for magnesium and oxide oxygen का O. तो इसका जो magnesium का क्या बन गया, बाद में ash बन गई, which turns into magnesium. पहले था magnesium, and when any substance burns, it comes in contact with the oxygen, then only it burns. So this thin strip of magnesium, you can see if you bring it near the flame, it suddenly starts burning with बहुत ज़्यादा white light के साथ ये burn करता है. Too much of light comes from it, and when it completely burns, it there leaves a powdery ash. मतलब कोई भी चीज़ अगर हम कागज़ जलाते हैं तो when we burn the paper also, then after sometimes the paper gets completely burned, you can see the black ash which remains at the end. The same way here, when the magnesium ribbon burns, when the magnesium and the ऑक्सीजन कम्स इन कॉन्टैक्ट, और अगर हम उसमें फ्लेम देते हैं, अगर फ्लेम के पास लाते हैं तो ऑक्सीजन के हेल्प से जो है मैग्नीशियम इट स्टार्ट्स बर्निंग, एंड इन द एंड द पाउडरी ऐश दैट इज लेफ्ट बिहाइंड दैट इज फॉर्म्ड इज योर मैग्नीशियम ऑक्साइड. The equation here are different from those in the mathematics. In the equations of this kind, the arrow implies becomes not no attempt should be made to balance chemical equations at this stage. Now here balancing of chemical equation, as I told you that this arrow, जैसे हम maths में कोई भी equation लिखते हैं तो हम equal to लिखते हैं, but this is different from the equations that are given in maths. Here simple equations are there. Here you are not going to study about the detailed equation, so no need to balance. Balance be that the number of molecules this side has to be equal the number of molecules this side, but we are not balancing the equation. We are just telling that after the magnesium combines with the oxygen, what does it form? It forms magnesium oxide, which is a new substance that is formed. So we are just trying to show with the help of this equation that a new substance is formed. Rather here we don't have to balance the equation that how many molecules of magnesium were there and how many molecules combined with the oxygen to form magnesium oxide. Here simply with the help of the equation, it is being shown that when magnesium combines with the oxygen, combustion takes place and magnesium oxide is formed, which is a new substance which is different from the magnesium that we had taken. Now collect the ash and mix it with a small amount of water. Stir the mixture or the aqueous solution well, test the mixture with blue or red litmus paper. Now take the ash that is left with the magnesium oxide that is formed, or the ash that is left after burning of the magnesium ribbon. Collect that ash and mix it in the water. Now aqueous solution means, aqua means water. So water के साथ जो भी solution बनाते हैं हम उसको बोलते हैं aqueous solution, मतलब पानी के साथ बनाया गया solution. This is a scientific name of the water solution that we make, the solution that we make with the help of the water is called as the aqueous solution. Stir that it till that ash completely mixes with the water. Now take the blue and red litmus paper and then see what happens. मतलब whether the magnesium oxide that is formed is acidic in nature or basic in nature, that you have to find out now. Does the mixture turns red litmus paper blue, or does the mixture turns blue litmus paper to red? On the basis of this test, how do you classify the aqueous solution with as basic, acidic or basic? Now the solution that is found is with the water only, so here that is why it is called as the aqueous solution. The mixture of the magnesium oxide and water that is formed with the help of the litmus test, you will come to know that whether it is acidic or basic. On dissolving the ash in water, it forms a new substance. Thus, this change can be written in the form of the following equation. When you mix this ash in the water, again a new substance is formed. Now we can show the change in that, how this new substance is formed with the help of this chemical equation. This is called as the chemical equation. हम खाली equation नहीं बोलते हैं, इसको हम chemical equation बोलते हैं. Now magnesium oxide जो हमारा ash है, which is magnesium oxide mixed with water. Now what is the formation of the scientific form of water is hydrogen and oxygen. H2O is called as the water, so it becomes magnesium hydroxide. अब क्या बन जाता है? Magnesium oxide when mixes with the water H2O, it becomes magnesium hydroxide, which is in the written as MgOH whole 2. मतलब यहाँ पर जो है Mg तो ऐसे ही रहेगा, ये जो OH के आगे एक ब्रैकेट लगा के 2 लगाया गया है, दैट मीन्स 2 मॉलिक्यूल्स ऑफ OH. यहाँ पर एक मॉलिक्यूल ऑफ ऑक्सीजन है, यहाँ पर एक 2 मॉलिक्यूल हो गए, और H2 मीन्स दैट 2 मॉलिक्यूल्स ऑफ हाइड्रोजन है. तो ये 2 मॉलिक्यूल्स ऑफ हाइड्रोजन एंड 2 मॉलिक्यूल्स ऑफ ऑक्सीजन मेक्स हाइड्रोक्साइड, 2 मॉलिक्यूल्स ऑफ हाइड्रोक्साइड. सो ये जो नया केमिकल मीन्स मैग्नीशियम ऑक्साइड पहले बना, बर्निंग के बाद मैग्नीशियम ऑक्साइड बना, एंड आफ्टर दैट मैग्नीशियम ऑक्साइड इज mixed in the water, it becomes magnesium hydroxide. As you have already learned in the last chapter, that magnesium oxide is that magnesium hydroxide is a base. So magnesium oxide is a new substance formed by burning of magnesium. Magnesium hydroxide is another substance that is formed by mixing magnesium oxide in water. So as we have already studied that magnesium oxide is a base, so this solution that is formed will also be basic only in nature, or the aqueous solution of magnesium hydroxide that is formed is basic in nature. Now, dear children, on page number 65 is your some of the key words that you have to write it in your notebook, classwork one time and homework one time. Chemical change, chemical reaction, crystallization, galvanization, physical change, and rusting. Only few are there, so you will write it one time in classwork as one time homework. Now this is your exercise, which is on page number 65. All the answers that I am showing you on page number 65 and 66, you have to write it in your textbook as well as in your notebook one time. Now here classify the change involved in the following process as the physical change or the chemical changes. जो यहाँ पर जो भी दिए हुए हैं the changes, you have to tell whether this change is a physical change or a chemical change. As I explained that in chemical change a new substance is formed, whereas in the physical change only the physical appearance of the substance, size, shape, color, that only changes. The basic material of which that substance is made or the properties of that material does not change, whereas in chemical change even the property of the substance also changes. Now this is your photosynthesis. It is a chemical change because in this a new substance is formed, that is the food of the plants. Dissolving a sugar in water, which is a physical change, even Why? Because if we boil the water, then all the water will evaporate and the sugar crystals will be left behind. Burning of coal is a chemical change because after burning of coal, you will only get the ash, not the coal back. Melting of wax is a physical change because after wax melts and it cools down, again it converts into the wax. Beating aluminium to make a aluminium foil is also a physical change. Then digestion of food is a chemical change. Now, this is your true and false. Cutting a log of wood into pieces is a chemical change, that is false, because here only the log of wood will remain the same, only the size will be smaller. Formation of manure from the leaves is a physical change, that is wrong. It is a chemical change. From the leaves you get manure, so that manure cannot be converted back into the leaves. Moving on to page number 66, this is your third right and wrong. Iron pipes coated with zinc do not get rusted easily. That is true. That means a coating of zinc is done so that you can protect your iron pipes from getting rusted. Iron and rust are the same substances. They are different substances totally, so it is false. Condensation of steam is not a chemical change. This is true. Then these are your blanks. Fill in the blanks in the following sentences. So following statements. When carbon dioxide is passed through the lime water, it turns milky due to the formation of calcium carbonate. This I have not explained, but dear children, write down the blanks exercise up kar lijiye. The second part I'll send you tomorrow. The explanation remaining part I'll send you tomorrow. The chemical name of the baking soda is sodium hydrogen carbonate. Two methods by which rusting of iron can be prevented is by coloring or by galvanization. Then changes in which only dash properties of substances change is called as a physical change, where the physical properties of the substances change. Changes in which a new substance is formed is called as the chemical change. Now next are your long answers that we are not going to do. Then here is the last one. This is your 12th one that we are going to do. 11th and 12th we are going to do now. Also you're right, tick the correct option only. The gas we get from the in the kitchen is called as a liquefied petroleum gas or the LPG. In the cylinder, it exists in the liquid form. When it comes out from the cylinder, it becomes a gas. Change A. When it burns, change B. The following statements pertains to these changes. Choose the correct one. Process A is a chemical change. Process B is a chemical change. Both process A and B are chemical change, and none of the process is a chemical change. The correct answer is process B is a chemical change. That means the burning of the gas is a chemical change. From just changing from liquid to gas is a change of state of that gas from liquid to gas, but it is not a chemical change. Only the burning of coal is a gas is a chemical change. Then anaerobic bacteria digest animal waste and produce biogas. This is your change A. That means the bacteria convert the waste into the biogas, and this biogas is then burnt as fuel, which is the change B. The following statements pertains to these changes. Choose the correct one. Process A is a chemical change. Process B is a chemical change. Then C is your both process A and B are chemical change. And 4, none of these processes are chemical change. The correct answer is the third option. Both process A and B are chemical changes. The reason is that when the bacteria converts that waste into the biogas, that means that it is a new product that is formed. And that biogas is again burnt. So that is also a new that is a change in the total form of that biogas only. The properties of biogas is also going to change when it burns. So both the A and B, both the processes are chemical change. So this you have to write it in your notebook one time along with the keywords. So dear children, till we meet and complete the lesson, remaining part of it tomorrow. Till then, bye bye and have a nice evening.